transition and let's go to a battle in Jacksonville this weekend. It's Patrick Mahomes versus Trevor Lawrence. It's the Chiefs. It's the Jags. 1 o'clock kickoff in Jacksonville. The Kansas City Chiefs are favored to win this game. The Chiefs are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under for this game is 51.5 points. So, Travis Kelce is expected to play in this game. He's been limited in practice this week, but they are saying it's a great possibility he will make his season debut. And Chris Jones, he ended his holdout and is expected to play for the Chiefs as well. Remember, Chris Jones and the Chiefs had a contract dispute, and Chris Jones wanted more money. The Chiefs gave him more money and added some incentives on his deal for this season. So Chris Jones and Travis Kelce both are expected to play for the Chiefs Sunday in Jacksonville. So when I look at the Chiefs, obviously the Chiefs started off the season 0-1, and Travis Kelce did not play, neither did Chris Jones. And offensively, I feel like the Chiefs missed Travis Kelce more than even the defense missed Chris Jones. On offense last week against the Lions, the Chiefs receivers did absolutely nothing. Specifically, Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney was awful last week. He couldn't hold on to the football to save his life. Couldn't hold on to the football. And then, earlier in the week, when the Giants got beat by the Cowboys 40-0 on Sunday Night Football, Kadarius Toney went on Twitter and was talking about the Giants, yet when the game was over, he deleted his Twitter page again. So his Twitter page got deleted Thursday night, just out of nowhere. His page was deleted after the Chiefs lost to the Lions. And then he reopens up his Twitter page and goes and try to talk about the Giants, his former team, but then he deactivates his page again. Don't come on Twitter and trash talk the Giants, and then first of all, don't run from the smoke. You ran from the smoke when you deactivated your page after you lost against the Lions Thursday night. You deactivate your page because you knew you had heat coming your way from Chiefs fans. But then you reactivate your page. You want to talk trash about the Giants, but then you want to deactivate your page again? That was a weak move by Kadarius Toney. And I like Toney. He got a lot of talent. Had a tremendous punt return in the Super Bowl. Made some key, impactful plays in the Super Bowl for the Chiefs. That punt return being one of them. And I think he's really, really talented. But that was a weak move by Kadarius Toney. But overall, offensively, we know the Chiefs are led by Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the reigning NFL Super Bowl MVP. Last year, 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5,520 passing yards, completing 67% of his passes. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. And he is the leader of this Chiefs offense, him and Andy Reid. But when it comes to Andy Reid, as great as Andy Reid is, I want to see how great Andy Reid is going to be this season without Eric Bieniemy. You know, Eric Bieniemy, he left Kansas City, and he's now in Washington, and he's the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. And they're complaining about Bieniemy's coaching style and how he's coaching them too hard. They need to listen to Bieniemy because he knows his football, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But I want to see this year how that Chiefs offense performs and how Andy Reid does as a play caller without Eric Bieniemy. Because everyone wants to give credit to Andy Reid and how great of a coach he is. And he is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. But he would not have had the success in Kansas City that he's had if he didn't have Eric Bieniemy over the last few years. So when you talk about the Chiefs and their dynasty, offensively, you got to give Mahomes credit, Andy Reid credit, and Eric Bieniemy as well. But they're going to get Travis Kelce back. We know that with Mahomes and Kelce, this is one of the more explosive offenses in the NFL. One of the more explosive offenses. That Jaguars defense, to me, they're not great. I don't have high expectations for that Jaguars defense. Defensively, up front, you do have Adam Godis, Josh Allen at linebacker, Devin Lloyd in their secondary. You got Tyson Campbell. You got Rayshon Jenkins. Okay, but that Jaguars defense is not elite. Sorry about that. They're not elite. And their offense is the strength of their team. That's the strength of their team. But the key is going to be, can the Jaguars defensively contain Travis Kelce? That's going to be the key. You look at Travis Kelce. Last year, 110 receptions, 1,338 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. It's been a lot of great tight ends in the NFL, from Shannon Sharp to Antonio Gates to Tony Gonzalez. None of those tight ends are as good as Travis Kelce is. I believe he's the greatest tight end in NFL history. So him being back in this offense is going to really help the Chiefs overall. Like, Mahomes needs Travis Kelce to be successful. But we keep hearing about this Chiefs receiving core, and I got questions about that Chiefs receiving core. You got Marquez Valdes-Scantling at receiver. You got, obviously, Kadarius Toney as well. Rashad Rice, okay? Justin Watson. But Sky Moore also. And Sky Moore, to his credit, Sky Moore and Rashee Rice, I believe Rashee, maybe not Rashee Rice, but I know Sky Moore made some plays in the Super Bowl. Made some plays. But they're young, and they're going for more so quantity over quality, because none of these receivers have proven themselves to be elite. And so that's what they're going to need. And that's why they need Kelce back. That's why Kelce's value is higher now than it has been in years prior. Because in years prior, you had Tyreek Hill on their offense. You had Sammy Watkins. Now, this receiving core is a receiving core that has players who have not proven themselves. They haven't proven themselves. So I want to see how that Chiefs offense responds and see if they can actually catch the ball this week. Now, when you switch over to the Jaguars offensively, Trevor Lawrence is their quarterback. Last year, Trevor Lawrence, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 4,113 passing yards, completing 66% of his passes. I feel like this was a year for Trevor Lawrence in which he was going to take that next step and elevate into being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Because Trevor Lawrence has the ability to be an elite quarterback. And he's always been a winner. Even dating back to his days at Clemson and even in high school, Trevor Lawrence has always been a winner. Offensively, the Jaguars at running back, they got Travis Etienne. At receiver, they brought back Calvin Ridley. Now, Calvin Ridley was sensational in week 1 for the Jaguars against the Colts. Calvin Ridley last week, 8 receptions, 101 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. He is making the case to be the number 1 receiver in this Jaguars offense. And I like some of the receivers. They got Zay Jones. They got Christian Kirk. Okay? You got Tim Jones, Jamal Agnew. But I believe that Calvin Ridley will be the number 1 receiver in this Jaguars offense as the season goes along. At tight end, you got Evan Ingram, who's solid. So that that Jaguars offense is one of the better offenses we have in the NFL. And they can put up some points. And I don't believe in that Chiefs defense. That Chiefs defense led by defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, they're not great. They damn sure need Chris Jones. So you brought back Chris Jones because Chris Jones can make timely plays for that Chiefs defense late in games. Remember last year in the AFC Championship game, Chris Jones dominated that Bengals offensive line. The Chiefs don't win the AFC Championship game and get to the Super Bowl if it weren't for Chris Jones' impact. So them having him back is going to be major for the Chiefs. But he is also, this is his first game. He didn't play in the preseason. How in shape is Chris Jones? We don't know. He may not even play all the snaps. So we have to keep that in mind as well in this matchup. But this is going to be a great game. I'm excited because we have two great coaches in Andy Reid and Doug Peterson, two of the more proven coaches in the NFL. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Andy Reid's been a proven head coach since he's been with Philly and now in Kansas City. One thing I'm going to say this about the Jacksonville Jaguars, too. This is an opportunity for the Jaguars to prove that they belong and that they are one of the legitimate contenders in the AFC. This year, in 10 of their 17 games, the Jaguars play the AFC South and the NFC South, two of the more weaker divisions in the NFL. I mean, in their division alone, you're going up against the Colts, the Texans, and the Titans. None of those teams are elite. And in the NFC South, Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers, none of those teams are considered elite. Saints are a team I feel like is a sleeper, but they have the ingredients in the format to be a legit contender in the AFC. So I want to. This is one of those games for the Jaguars. This is a prove it game for them. But with all that being said, I can't see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs falling to 0-2. So I'm rolling with the Chiefs to beat the Jaguars 31-24. I got Mahomes outlasting Trevor Lawrence, but I do think it's going to be an entertaining football game, and the Jaguars will compete in this game and prove that they are legitimate contenders in the AFC. But I'm rolling with Patrick Mahomes to beat Trevor Lawrence 31-24.